Hello people of YouTube, and today I'm going to show you a basic introduction to Photoshop. This is going to be a new series that I'm going to be doing. So when you open Photoshop, you'll get this basic design with your different tabs all around the screen. You can go File Open to open an image, or File New to create a new canvas. I want to currently create a new canvas just to show you that interface. As you can see, you can give it a name. So let's give this a name, Test. You can then change it to a preset. You have the custom preset where you change your own height, width, length, etc. But then you have others, so you have A4, A3, letter, default Photoshop size, etc, etc, etc. You have screen sizes here. You get the idea. But you can select custom. Now, then you have the width, the height. You can change this to pixels, inches. You can change the color mode. You don't really need to worry about color modes at the minute. But as you can see, if I change this to, let's say, 2000, that should create a square with the dimensions of 2000 by 2000 pixels. So I'll just close that for the time being. This is the picture I just went and quickly got for basically showing you through Photoshop. As you can see here, you have your tool section. Now this is where all your tools are that you'll be using on Photoshop. Now there's a little trick. If there's a black triangle in the bottom right corner of a tool, that means if you click on it and hold, it will come up with a list of sub preferences for that tool. So if I click, this is the move tool, by the way. This is just a basic tool. But if I click on this tool, it'll come up with options for that tool. But don't worry about that in a minute. Over here you have your navigator where you can zoom in and you can navigate around. So if I zoom in, I can navigate up and down, etc. But I'm just going to zoom out. Then you have your color. So you can change the color. Now change this color. You don't need to worry about this one at the minute. Then you have your history of what you've done. So you can, if I do something, I can always go back by using the history. Now you have your layers. Now layers work this way. Basically, if you have an image made up of lots of layers, that means that you can edit those layers separately. So let's say I wanted to edit Sonic's eye, or move Sonic's eye. Then I'd have to create a new layer for Sonic's eye, so I could edit it separately. So say if I wanted an effect on Sonic's eye that made it glow, but I didn't want an effect on the rest of the picture, I could then section Sonic's eye to a layer so I could edit it separately. And now that is extremely useful. So as you can see, I've opened a new image and it says background. Now, as you guys are new to Photoshop, I'm going to show you a quick way to get out of this. You never want it to say background at a beginner level. You want to go right click on it and click layer from background and just call it whatever the picture name is. So it's Sonic. Like so. Now that will just eliminate some problems you may have in the future. So that's the basic gist of Photoshop. Then you have filters for your layer, select, image, edit, etc, etc, etc. We're not going to worry about these in a minute. I'm just going to show you through a few tools. Now, this is the move tool. The move tool is used to move the layer that you have selected. So as you can see, I have the layer Sonic selected around. Now, as you can see, as I move this, there's a checkered background. That means there's nothing there. That just means it's a void. There's nothing there whatsoever. I'm just going to move that back into position there. So that's the move tool. Then you have the rectangular marquee tool. Now, as I said earlier, if you click and hold down on a tool that has a black triangle in the bottom right corner, it will give you options for that tool. So as you can see, I have the elliptical marquee tool, the single row marquee tool, and the single column marquee tool. These are all different types of marquee tool, which I will show you at a later date. We're just going to look at the rectangular marquee tool for now. Now, the rectangular marquee tool is used for selecting on the layer. So, just take this. Just remember this. Basically, with most tools, it will only affect the layer that you're on. Only some tools affect all layers, and I'll explain about those later. But with the rectangle marquee tool, I can select what I have on the layer. I can select parts of it. So as you can see, if I click and drag, I can select this part of the layer. Now, that has selected, so I can delete it or do whatever I want to do with it. So I'll just press Control Z there to get that back, and then Control D, which will deselect whatever you had selected. So that's the basics of the rectangular marquee tool. If I had if let's say Sonic's eye was another layer, and I selected that but I was on this layer, it wouldn't actually select Sonic's eye. And that's a useful thing with rectangular marquee and the selection tools, but I'll explain more about that later. You have the magic wand tool. Now the magic wand tool is a very basic tool, but one of the core tools in Photoshop. The magic wand tool is used to basically it selects a color, and then the tolerance you have selected, if you have a tolerance of 30, or let's say 30, it will select the color that you have, and it will select higher than that color by 30 or lower by that color by 30. So basically, it'll select grays and stuff, so it won't just select white. So when I click here, as you can see, it selected everything in its tolerance range. If I turn that tolerance down, if I just clicked, I just pressed Control D there, so I would deselect it. But if I turn that tolerance down to 10, it won't select all these grays. So that means I'll be able to get rid of the background, like so. So now I have the background gotten rid of, and I'll press Control D to then exit. Thank you for watching this first sorry, I'm mumbling. Thank you for watching this first Photoshop basic tutorial, and stay tuned for more tutorials in the future. Remember, this is just the basics. Photoshop can go a lot further than this. Thank you for watching.